Saturday, February 7th, here we are yet again for our daily video. Hey, I got a great question that I want to share with you. Folks are engaging on my Facebook page and sending me comments on my YouTube page. You can find all those wherever you're watching this video, most likely. BuildUpStStephen.ca is also my commitments, my priorities. You can find all my socials there. But I got this really great question from Gwen, and it was a challenge, as you should be properly challenging folks who are offering to be mayor. And it was, I'd like a list of qualifications and why you think you are the right person to be the mayor of St. Stephen. Now, I love this because there's a paradox built inside the question when you think about it. And that is the difference, I would say. We said, Gwen asked me, what is your list of qualifications? Now, I want to remind you of, and I'll read this again, the qualifications of being mayor. The role, the job of being mayor was 5 things, right? In the Local Governance Act. 1, preside over all meetings of council. 2, provide leadership to council. And I said that word is not defined anywhere. However, it is defined in the Code of Conduct for St. Stephen, and I want to read that to you. The third one was communicate information and recommend actions to council for the improvement of the local government's finances, administration, and government. Awesome. 4, speak on issues of concerns to the local government on behalf of council. So speak for council. Council moves as a unit. There's no I. And the next one, the last one, perform any other duties conferred on the mayor. So that's, like I said, like signings and ceremonial things and things that the clerk, legally you have to do as the mayor to effectuate bylaws and things like that. So those 5 things are the definition of being mayor. So what is the list of qualifications that someone would need to do those 5 duties? I would say it's a huge range, right? And this is where it's important to distinguish between qualifications and the qualities of the candidate. Qualifications are kind of like, what have you done, your experience? But even then, if somebody said, I have been an astronaut, and I'm applying to be your mayor, what qualifications does astronaut have for you being the mayor? Or somebody who's run a daycare, or somebody who is retired after 30 years in community organization or public service, or et cetera, et cetera. When you look at the qualifications of people who have taken public office, it ranges widely from being like a maintenance person to, like I say, having 4 decades of experience as a lawyer, whatever it is. I'm retired now, I've done. So a list of qualifications is somebody's experience and what has brought them to the point where they are. And I'm encouraging you, go to BuildUpStStephen.ca to my About page, and you will see all the things that I have led. I was the leader of a church. I've led volunteer teams. I've led boards, leadership teams, student union. I have, like I said, been leaders of committees, run my own business, all kinds of things like that. And so that is the qualifications that I believe. But from those qualifications, those have given me qualities that make me believe that I would be an excellent mayor. I would not be in this role. I would not be offering this role if I didn't think I had those qualities. Okay, and qualities are not something that you can put on a CV or on a website. There's something that you need to get to know the candidate and believe that they can do those 5 things. And that is really largely why I want to come on here. I mean, people who know me know that I have those qualities. But if you're asking that question, you don't. But make me work for it. Make me prove to you over the next 90, I'm losing count, some days until the election, that when I am in that role, do have the qualities for this. Now, I want to touch more on, move into more specific local documents. This is on the UMNB orientation website I found. It says the roles of the mayor is to preside at all meetings, kind of putting it in everyday language, what I just ran down for you. Provide leadership to the municipality, communicate information, and act as the spokesperson of the municipality and facilities directions and facilitate directions of council, not facilities, that's a CAO, subject to the direction and control of the municipal council. I talked about that yesterday. The mayor just serves with the council, lockstep. Ceremonial roles, oversight roles in collaboration with the rest of council. You're overseeing the CAO, and the CAO oversees the staff work. Key signing authorities, and then other duties. So that is kind of a rundown from an orientation from UMNB. But another thing that I found here, and again, see yesterday for the rundown of the 6 documents that I'm working with on a regular basis here and keep bringing up. But this is now the St. Stephen bylaw number 0423. It's the code of conduct. Now, what I like about this code of conduct, like I say, there's some things in there that I think need some refreshing, particularly where there's, mention of councillors shall not be nitpicky and things like that. There's a lot up for debate here. But in the list of definitions, as bylaws typically do have at the outset, there's a definition for leadership, collaboration, and public interest, which follows later in the document. But I want you to read this because this is our bylaw. This is the St. Stephen bylaw that we are bound to when we're in this role. And it says, what leadership, collaboration, and public interest means an ability to lead, listen to, and positively influence others. So think about that in terms of qualities. Am I a leader when I'm offering to be your mayor? Am I able to listen to you, and am I able to do I make it a habit to positively influence others? It also means coming together to create or meet a common goal through collective efforts and serving their constituents by acting in the best interests of the local government. Okay, so that's the definition. Now, when you find a definition in a document like this, you need to go find where it's mentioned. And it is mentioned in the values in section 5.1 of this. Okay, and again, I'm going with the Code of Conduct bylaw, which you can find on the St. Stephen website, or just Google it and it'll come up. St. Stephen Code of Conduct bylaw. And there are 5 values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, listed out in the Code of Conduct when you become a councillor or a mayor. So this applies to everybody, councillor and mayor. But listen to this: leadership, collaboration, and public interest is value number 4. And this is the description of what we need to ascribe to. Conduct under this value and principle is demonstrated. So how do you know when you're doing this? Well, it's demonstrated, I like that language, when council or a member encourages individuals to work together in pursuit of collective objectives by leading and listening to and positively influencing others. It's kind of repeating the definition there, but this is the actual bylaw item. Members as community leaders must build and inspire the public's trust and confidence in local government in all their dealings. Okay, so I really, really liked that. In the context of that question, Mark, what are your qualifications? Well, I've led multiple teams. I am a collaborator. I've led teams through difficult times, run my own small business, whether it's boards, whether it's student groups, whether it's churches, whether it's volunteer groups. That is something that I excel at as somebody who has practiced and studied leadership on an ongoing basis for 15 plus years. Now, I want to talk to you about when I described the 5 things that the mayor does. There's also a section here, section 9 of the same document, the Code of Conduct. This is where the mayor is specifically mentioned. And I want to use this by way of example. Mark, what are your qualifications and what are your qualities? Well, here I am making daily videos, and I believe in collaboration, and I believe in servant leadership. The leader just means the biggest server. That is something that I've always believed and am convinced. That's why the burden of leadership is heavier. First among equals on a council or a chair of a board means you're just the one who works harder for everyone else helping solve their problems. As a business person, I can go down that rabbit hole of, a business is solving people's problems. The government is solving people's problems. Well, whoever's leading that is the person doing the most work to get people collaborating, solving the problems. But I wanted to read number 9.2, unless council directs otherwise, and that's usually when there's some incapacitation or something, the mayor is the council's official spokesperson, and in the absence of the mayor, it's the deputy mayor. Members shall direct media, so members of council shall direct media inquiries regarding the official council position on an issue to council's official spokesperson. And who is the official spokesperson? It's the mayor. So again, we have lived in a municipality where we hear very little from the mayor, and we see councilors on their Facebook pages putting things out, sometimes speaking and sometimes some not. And hey, it's not because the reason for that is it's actually not the council's role to speak, but that to me is where we're getting so much suspicion, so much breakdown, so much, what was the language in one of these other places? Like the faith, build and inspire the public's trust and confidence in local government. That is why I want it to be my mission to be leading a council team you trust, building up a home we're proud of, using and following and sharing an action plan that we all understand. I can't look to my list of qualifications. Nobody could. A lawyer, an astronaut, a community leader, somebody who works for a community volunteer group, somebody who works at a garden center, worked in retail. There are so many qualifications, but what qualities do you want in your mayor? Tomorrow, I'm going to get more personal then and talk about the qualities that I bring that will absolutely facilitate and enable me in terms of experience and disposition to dispense these duties with excellence. And communication is just one example of that, where the mayor is expected to speak on behalf of council, whether it's to the media or to the community, so that you all know what is going on and you don't wonder and you don't lose public trust because either no one's talking about it or different councilors are talking about it personally, saying different things. It is time to unite the council for your trust to serve your needs and solve your problems. And that is absolutely something I'm going to bring. But make me work for it. There's 90 plus days in this campaign, and I expect to talk to you a lot about it, a lot more to you about it. All right. Thank you, friends. Again, buildupststephen.ca for more about me, those qualifications. The qualities, well, I want you to see my commitments, my priorities, the action plan I'm going to lead. Keep following along with these videos. Keep commenting and asking me things. You're going to set a lot of the direction for this content, I know, I love the questions. I even love the challenges because that's what you need to be doing. Okay, until tomorrow, friends, I hope you have a great, beautiful weekend here in St. Stephen. And build up yourself, build up your neighbor. Let's build up St. Stephen together. Cheers.